Hello and welcome to another video where I'm going to be running through a section A. I'm coming right towards the end of completing all of the section A's for this particular exam board, and I will be moving on to section B and section C afterwards. But today what we're going to do is we're going to run through a 2021 micro paper, section A. This is from Pearson or Edexcel, the exam board. I'm going to run through all the reasoning for how I answer each question. Why I've given that answer, and hopefully get through it within the time frame, which for the A2 papers is 30 minutes, but we'll hopefully get through it in way less than that, and it allows time for you to, in your exam, get on to the more difficult questions which are worth more marks as well. So let's get started. So as you can see here, answer all questions and you have 30 minutes. Your advice, spend 30 minutes. You should try and do it in a faster amount of time. Okay, statement 1. Since Poland joined the European Union in 2004, over 1 million of its workforce have migrated to other countries in the EU. And statement 2. Many engineers have left Poland for higher paid jobs in other countries in the EU. Which one of the following best describes these two statements above? And it's got normative or positive. Normative statements are statements which are judgments or value judgments. They're like, I believe this, or this should happen. Usually you can find out because they're kind of expressing someone's opinion rather than actually being something which can be proven to be right or wrong. Positive statements are the opposite. They could be proven right or wrong. So both of these statements here, since Poland joined the European Union in 2004, over 1 million of its workforce have migrated to other countries in the EU. That can be proven. We can look at migration statistics and we can find out whether this is the case, that over 1 million of its workforce have migrated. And statement 2, many engineers have left Poland for higher paid jobs in other countries in the EU. Again, we can look at the breakdown of statistics for engineers and whether they've left Poland, when they've migrated, and we can figure out whether that is true or not. So in this case, both of these answers, because they can be proven true or false, they're both positive, which means that the answer is D. Explain the likely impact of the migration on the wage level of engineers in Poland. Okay, so because it's a 4-mark question, remember you always need to have some form of application. That's really important. In this case, what you'd expect is that the migration would cause the wage rate to increase because they're leaving Poland, they're going to other areas of the EU. So the wage rate of engineers in Poland would increase. Okay, now the way that I like to do this, and you can always do this in your exam, is you can draw a diagram to show the impact. So we can use a labour market diagram to show that this is the case. I've got wages on the y-axis, and I've got quantity of labour or Q of labour on the x-axis, and I've got the demand for labour, which comes from firms, and I've got the supply of labour, which comes from households. So initially, we would have this given wage rate here and given quantity of labour Q1, W1. Because engineers are leaving to go to areas other than Poland, the supply of labour shifts in. There are fewer people who can work as engineers. So this is S of labour 2, I'm going to put. And actually it causes the wage rate to go up because there's going to be fewer workers or engineers available for the jobs that they perform in that country. So we could say the wage rate of engineers would increase, and we could say this is because of the excess demand for labour of engineers and then let's just make sure we know what it is. 1 million. Here you can see 1 million of its workforce have migrated to other countries, and then we can say part of that would be engineers, right? As 1 million workers have left Poland. and they should include engineers. Including engineers. Have left Poland. And there we go. So we can see that the new equilibrium is this W2, and that wages have increased. Okay, cobalt is a key metal used in the batteries of electric cars. China is the world's largest producer of electric cars, but has recently cut subsidies to its manufacturers. That seems important. The Democratic Republic of Congo produces more than 60% of the world's supply of cobalt from its small-scale mines. Many new small mines opened in 2018 as a result of improved expectations of profit. Okay, again, that seems pertinent as well. The following graph shows the price of cobalt between June 2018 and June 2019, and we can see that it has dropped from around 40 2018 to, if we go across it, 15 in 2019, and that's dollar per pound. Okay. With reference to information provided, draw a supply and demand diagram to show where the price of cobalt fell between June 2018 and June 2019. Okay, so we've got price and quantity, P and Q here, and as always, the most simple thing to do would be to start by drawing a demand curve and a supply curve, as we know that this is going to be some equilibrium and they haven't asked us to do anything yet. So this would be Q1 and P1. Now if we look at the information here, China is the world's largest producer of electric cars, but has recently cut subsidies to its manufacturers. If they've done that, that means it's going to cut back production, which means that demand for cobalt from Chinese producers is actually going to reduce, which means that in turn, they're going to demand less cobalt. They don't need, if they're not producing as many electric cars, they don't need the cobalt to make those electric cars or the batteries for those electric cars. So one of the impacts is going to be the demand curve shifting inwards. I'm going to put that as D1 and that D2. And if we look at the other section here, many new small mines opened in 2018 as a result of improved expectations of profits. That tells me that the supply of mines who produce the cobalt has also increased, or the amount of cobalt that could be produced has also increased. And so if we're looking for the new equilibrium, we've got to go from where our new supply curve and new demand curve intersect, which is there, Q2, and then a new price there. So those factors, and you do not need the arrows, those factors are the ones which influence, the demand and supply for cobalt. Okay, between June 2018 and June 2019, the price of cobalt, they also love a percentage change, and percentage change is new minus old over old times 100, and the new is always the kind of most contemporary value, so $15 minus $40 over $40 times 100. And if we put that into the calculator, which I shall do now, 15 minus 40 is minus 25 divided by 40 is 62 times 100 is 62.5%. So it fell by, because it says fell by, you don't need to have the negative sign, but it fell by minus 62.5%. 3A. River Island is a clothing retailer. Students are offered a River Island student discount to benefit from a 10% price reduction as an attempt by the firm to increase profit. Complete the third degree price discrimination diagram below. Draw the impact on each sub-market by showing the price and profit. Okay, well, in this case, they're always going to be profit maximizing, and the profit maximization function is where MR is equal to MC. We can see that this dotted line here going across, and I just highlighted this sections, the dotted line going across is the marginal costs, and you can see that they're trying to increase profit. So they're going to be profit maximizing. So the key bits here are there, where they're profit maximizing, MR is equal to MC, and there, where MR is equal to MC. Now I'm going to just take that off for a second because it's going to get in the way. And what we can do is we can draw a point going up like so and across. And we can put this as, I don't know, Q1. And we can put that as P1. And if we want to get rid of this as well, we can show that the profit that they make is this square that I'm going to draw here. Anything above the average cost or marginal cost and below the average revenue equilibrium point. We do the same thing. The non-students, you can see that they exploit them by charging a much higher price, and that makes sense because they're willing to pay a higher price than students. Students don't have a lot of money typically, and so are forced to pay this lower price that you can see here. Let me put that as P2 and Q2 so it's not confusing. If you know this, if you have a student card, you pay less money for certain things, and that's a way for them to attract you into the store, but also to extract as much value as they can from you to make profit from different individuals and different consumers. And you can see there, that's the price that they're going to charge you if you're a non-student. So the profit is each of those boxes there. I guess we could just label these. I can just put the square, and I'll just put profit, just so it's abundantly clear. Which one of the following is necessary for a firm to be able to practice price discrimination? Well, they need some degree of market power, and that's the first option that we have. It is able to store its product, does not influence this. Its product has different features in different markets, well, that would differentiate it. It needs to be homogeneous in order for them to exploit different consumers for the same product, and the cost of supplying some customers are higher. It's not, well, yeah, that's not what price discrimination is about. Price discrimination is about exploiting different characteristics of different consumers. Whether you're a student, whether you're over a certain age, whether you're under a certain age, or that's why companies are really interested in collecting as much data as possible from you. One of the reasons, so that they can exploit you for the revenue that they can generate and the profit they can generate. Okay, moving forward, Patrick Street Productions produces a musical. Its latest production is It's a Wonderful Life, and the total cost of this production is $200,000. Okay, that sounds important. Ticket price is $40. Their theatre has a capacity of 300 seats. It aims for revenue maximization, which is where MR is equal to 0. If this is achieved, revenue from ticket sales will cover 30% of total costs, and charitable donations contribute to 12.5%, and a government subsidy ensures the rest. So 42.5%, which means that it's going to be 57.5% for the subsidy. Okay, so calculate the total revenue. Total revenue is a bit keen there. Is the price times the quantity, or the price of each ticket times the quantity sold. So $40 is the cost of each ticket, and then you times that by 300 seats, and if you type that into the calculator, you should get $60,000. Just double check. Well, actually, that will give you $12,000, but you need to times that by 5. Because they sell 5 shows at a time, so $60,000. Calculate the value of the government subsidy necessary for this production to cover all of its costs. Okay. Okay, so the total cost of the production is $200,000. Okay, so if it's 200,000, the total cost, then the amount that needs to be covered is the ticket revenue from ticket sales 30%, 12.5% for the charitable donations. So 100% minus 30% minus 12.5% is equal to, I believe, the 57.5% which I mentioned earlier. Yep, that makes sense. And so in order to calculate that, we take 200,000, we multiply that by 0.575, that's putting that into a percentage, and that should come out as $115,000. Okay, and that's all we need to do. Which one of the following conditions is necessary for revenue maximization to occur? Well, I assume it's going to be where MR is equal to 0, as I have mentioned here. Put the 3 exclamation marks down just so you're aware. Marginal revenue equals average revenue, no. Average revenue equals marginal cost. Average revenue equals average cost. Marginal revenue equals 0. D. Correct. Okay. The last question. In Sicily, many households can grow lemons of the same quality. Okay, immediately I'm thinking perfect competition, because any farming is usually associated with perfect competition because it's homogeneous goods, lots of producers, price takers rather than price makers, all those conditions that satisfy the idea of perfect competition. Chiara decided to sell lemons at a local market, expecting to make a normal profit. She noticed that all of the many lemon sellers are charging exactly the same price. Draw diagrams showing the equilibrium positions for both the lemon market and a typical firm in the long run. Okay, let's do that then. So P and Q, and let's put revenue, cost, price, and Q. In the long run, in a perfectly competitive market, they make normal profit. So that's what we should show in our diagram. So we have demand and supply. Supply, demand of the lemons. There's Q, there's P, and we do this fun thing of extending it all the way across here. And we can draw a flat line. Thank God for that correction, otherwise that would have looked horrible. And this is our revenue curve. So MR equals demand equals average revenue, and it equals price as well. And we could put P there. Okay, so marginal cost looks like that. It's upward sloping, and average total cost needs to intersect with this section here. Let me just get rid of that so it's not in the way. To show normal profit, and it needs to be the bottom of it as well. Average total cost. And if we draw the line down there, Q, and that is done. Which one of the following exists in the short run if Chiara makes a loss? Okay, if she's making a loss, then actually the price needs to below somewhere like here, where even though that's horrible, it goes somewhere down like so. So in that instance, I'm just going to get rid of it because it looks pretty horrible. In fact, actually no, I'll just keep it there for a moment. What we can see is that the price is still equal to marginal cost, right? And therefore, it's still allocatively efficient. Allocatively efficient is yes. Productive efficiency, if I change the color here, is where it intersects with the lowest point of average total cost. And because we're below average total cost, we are not productive efficiently. So productive efficiency is a no. Now, all of that leads to me to get the answer that allocative, if she's making a loss, there's allocative efficiency and productive inefficiency. So the answer is B. Allocative efficiency, yes, and productive efficiency, yes. Is no, not yes. And there we go, that's done. So hopefully that will be helpful in helping you with understanding more about microeconomics. And if you like the video, leave a like and subscribe, and I will try and make as many as possible to help you on your path to taking your exams this coming summer and in the future as well. Thank you very much, and thank you for your support as always, and best of luck.